Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, 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 good morning. All right, so good morning. It's gonna be a quick one today. Some new things going on around here. I did a little bit of an update to style. Instead of just looking wet, it's wet leaves. Wet leaves and rainbows. Look, wet leaves, rainbows. Look at wet leaves. Okay. Well, hopefully you can hear the background. There's wet leaves. There's rainbows. Green glasses. And then I added a, do I even have, yes, I added a stretch wheel, which hopefully we can mess around with on Thursday, because today I'm on a mission, but I added a stretch wheel, so whenever anybody tells me I need to stretch, we'll spin the stretch wheel. That is loud to me, and then I can stretch my neck. Alright, anyway. Stream updates. We're on it. I kind of feel like that background should also be this background. I mean, it's kind of intense. But it's a stretch wheel background, so anyway. Okay. Listen, we got things to do. We got people to see. We got cards to go through. The reason this is early today is because I can't believe you're on a stream in a meeting. I'm so color coordinated. Believe it or not, I've never been tested for ADHD, and that's what I'm doing today. Even though, I mean, if you watch my stream for like 10 minutes, you're like, damn, that person is not focused. Okay. This is what we're up to. Small? Is that small? ADHD in the house. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't be bested. Get tested. Great. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to review these Banky Prep ones. And then if we do that and it's not noon yet, we're going to fly through the rest of these questions. That makes the most sense, right? How's the music? Can everybody hear the music? Can anybody hear the music? To me, I can never tell how loud the music is. 'Cause I hear it here. It's so bizarre. Okay. I hear it like it's bumping. I don't want to turn it up for everybody over there and have it be like, oh my god, music is too loud. And then you'd be like, I can't hear Rachel mumbling anymore. Okay. You're not mumbling loud enough. Meetings are stupid. Actually, here's a funny thing. I used to love meetings. And then I had to sit through too many of them with boomers. I don't think there's any boomers in the chat. Man, you keep getting the broccoli. they're gonna approve the tomato. I love the tomato so much. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Explain how prototypal inheritance works. All right, prototypal inheritance is when you have parents and you have children and you have prototypes, which are like ancestors. You might not even have. This is a terrible answer so far. Okay, let's say you have an object and the object doesn't have what you need, but JavaScript does. And that is a prototype. So JavaScript is going to look at the prototype and say, oh, you have the cat. Oh. Oh. Well, see, that makes me feel better. If the object you have doesn't have what you want, doesn't have the method or the property that you want, JavaScript will look at the prototype and say, hey, prototype, do you have this thing? And then if it does, it'll use it, which is another reason why you shouldn't edit the global prototype, because that will mean that you can't rely on that. A good example of this is constructors and Bluetooth. You got the cat twice. Everybody wants a potato. This is only going to get worse as we add emotes. Alright. Why is it generally a good idea to position CSS links between the head? In the head tag. Why is it a good idea? Or before the end of the body. Okay, so it's all about rendering. You either want it to render you either want to render it you want your CSS to render before you call a script, basically, is the answer to this question. You don't want any scripts to interrupt your CSS rendering. The end. That would be bad. You want the visual of the website to appear before some action happens. Oh, my word. And the other thing you need to know is don't use document.write. It's bad. It's deprecated. It's bad. Okay, describe the difference between a cookie, session storage, and local storage. Cookies are small. They're little. They're less than a megabyte. And they refresh every time the page refreshes. Session storage is larger. I can memorize how big it is. But it is not going to refresh or need to be refreshed until you close the browser or the tab. And then local storage is there until you remove it, basically. 2.5 megabytes. So this is Killa. Yeah, alright, that's correct. That's correct. HTML5 is an open web platform. What are the building blocks of HTML5? Alright, so we got a few things here. I don't remember them all. I never do. But we'll try some. So there's styling. There's accessibility. There's that's usually where I stop. Integrations. Semantics. Connectivity. Accessibility isn't one of them. Device access. I need to study this again. Alright, describe floats and how they work. So floats were designed to float words around images. That was the initial intention of floats. Basically, it provides margin and padding for images and different elements inside of the box model. However, people realized that they could build entire websites and actually make them look kind of nice with some headaches. But we've evolved since then. Is they suck an acceptable answer? Yeah, I mean, it depends on how cool your interviewer is, I guess. Trying to create a whole header just using clearfix margining patterns. Good luck. I mean, I think this is sort of the genius of Leon Noel, is that he put us through that, and now we know how much they suck. It's kind of like we went through 10 years of software engineering, like the whole evolution of it and the frustrations of it, and now we're like, you know what? Just give me a framework, you know? I'm so delighted using Bootstrap. It just makes me so happy. I'm just happy. Literally just giddy that I can use Flexbox and I don't have to think about this. Explain how this works in JavaScript. So this is kind of a placeholder in JavaScript, and you put it inside of your object to hold a space in your properties and your methods, so that when you call the object, this becomes the thing that you're calling. It's similar to, I don't remember what it is, self in Python. So there are similar usages in other languages, but basically it's a placeholder in the object to, like, before, you know, the object is kind of built out. It's kind of like the key space until you have all your keys built out. This tells you where to put those things. Yes. The current object's context. The value of this is defined at runtime. That's a much better way to say what I said, but it's similar to what I said. All right. Okay. Oh, man. Closure. All right. Did you know that there's a whole programming language named Closure? I actually know the guy that wrote the book on Closure, and I mean, he's not the greatest guy, but he pretends like he's the greatest guy. Anyway, side note. All right, a closure is Twitter is blowing up right now. It's very distracting. Okay. This closure is I think it's like, I haven't studied this yet, so I just wrote it out and then I put it in here. So it's like something that's enclosed within a function, so it can't be accessed globally. And then why would you use it? So that you're not like, yeah, I said he wrote the book on Closure. He wrote a book on Closure. Isn't it like the book people reference though? I don't know. It's a funny looking book. Just as illustrations are funny. Why would you use it? So that you can like control what is being accessed and what isn't. So it's like uses encapsulation as a concept to protect different things in the code. I don't know. Lexical refers to the fact that lexical scoping uses the location where a variable is declared to determine where that variable is available. Crystal, you did the thing with currying. I need to learn a little bit more about currying. I think I had this on my list of things to research, but I think the basic understanding... Wait, maybe I have this backwards. Closures are functions that have access to the outer functions variables. Is that backwards? So it's not enclosed, it's exclosed. Alright. Okay, the main difference between these two is that a map creates a new array. And then for each applies a function to the elements within your current array. So map is good if you don't want to mutate your first array. One thing I know about map is it is one of the most popular functions. Methods. Maybe we should watch it together. Alright, so for each applies a function to each element of the array, and map creates a new array by applying a function to an array. Okay, got that part. So consider for each a shorthand for a for loop. Is that true? I think it is, kind of. It's helpful when you don't care about the index of each element. I did a Code Wars yesterday. Oh, you know what? It was a chicken sexing one. I have to focus. I can't go down the deepest rabbit holes forever, but hold on, let me look this up. My appointment is at 12:30, so I have to eat before I go to my appointment. So just so you know, I did not figure this one out by myself. I did have to look at it. Look up the answer finally, because I wasn't getting the syntax right. That's usually what gets me, is like, I know what I need to do, I just don't exactly know how to write it. Yeah, I think that will come with time. Anyway, I was doing this code word, and then there is a for each loop, which I think is based on the results, it is the easiest way to solve it. So sex those chickens, baby. What's a typical use case for anonymous functions? Hold on. Anonymous functions we have inside of we see them in, oh shoot, I know this. It's there in the set timeout. Yeah, they use them in event loop stuff. Say that in an interview. But you're just running a function for the sake of like throwing something into the event loop so it'll come back, basically. We didn't need to name this function. Maybe I will, okay. Sexos kitchens. Sexy kitchens. What? See, I can be funny before noon. Everybody will be excited to know that someone reached out to me on Twitter to send me a webcam because I'm an influencer. And I'm like, who am I influencing? Have I influenced any of you? Maybe I've influenced you to use Tabby Cats. Hold on, I don't like this song. Polar Bear Mommy. Do you see that? You can't see that. You still can't see that. Hold on. This. You still can't see that. This. Oh my god, I'm gonna get lost. Okay, hold on. Mommy. I've influenced no one. Okay. Alright. Wow, these are all sleepy songs. Because it's chill hop. We're listening to chill hop. Oh god, I'm lost in the chill hop. Okay, fine. Here we go. Anyway, anonymous functions. We did it. It's great. How do you organize your code? I can organize my code the way Leon tells me to. Badly? Just in lines. Okay. The internet told me the answer to this is modules. Classical. Try to avoid classical inheritance where possible. These days I use React, which utilizes a single direction flow data. Hold on, I need to edit that. Uses. Save it. Save it, baby! Okay, show the answer. Uses a single directional data flow based on Flux architecture. Right? I would represent my apps models using plain objects and write utility pure functions to manipulate these objects. Yeah, I organize the files on my computer using Flux architecture. I don't know why you didn't know that, okay? It's always been Flux architecture with me. Architecture. Alright, I do know this one. The difference between host objects and native objects. Host objects come with JavaScript. Native objects come with the environment. That's all I can tell you. Oh my god, I reversed it. God. Alright, how am I going to remember that? Native objects come with the JavaScript. It's native to JavaScript. Host is where you are. That's your environment. You're hosted by your environment. Native to JavaScript. I just have to remember that you're hosted by your environment. Okay. So, function person. That's like a class constructor. What's it called? Excuse me. That's basically a class constructor. Class. It's class. Function. Right? And then the second one is broken. Like, that's not a thing we do. And then the third one is we're creating a new person. We're creating a new object to go in that class. The capital. Was I writing this with my butt? Good morning, Victoria. Welcome. A normal function declaration. Okay. Alright, this is alright. Oh, not this again. I told it to come back, but I don't want to answer it. Okay, so ones I remember from looking at it earlier are animation, 2D and 3D animation, connectivity, like server access. There's something about like server, that's connectivity. Semantics. Oh, storage. Performance and integration. Man, I gotta be better at that. Alright. Okay, we just did this one. Okay. Oh, graphic. I love graphics. What is the difference between .call and .apply? I remember that one of them is for oh, actually the only thing I remember right now is that it's connected to bind. Bind makes it permanent. So one of these does one thing and one does one thing slightly different. But if you want it to actually stick, you need to use bind. But what do they do? I don't know. I forgot. In my defense, I just put these in my Anki, so that's why I'm going through them. All right. Okay, the invoke functions. Maybe this is not related to bind. Something different, maybe? The main difference is that call is used. Right. Apply array. Apply equals array. AA. Okay. I might make a note about that. Edit. First parameter will be used as the value of this. Touch it. That's not right. I'm just making a mental note. Hopefully that mind map will help me out. So give this a context without a method. Otherwise, try using, right? To show values from the object. Trying to use. Ah, that's what I was trying to do. I feel like I just probably need to use this like in context because otherwise it's just not going to make any sense to me. But the question is, what is the difference? And the difference is call is used with a comma separated list and apply is used with an array. Okay. All right. That's all we need to know. Theoretically. Function. I knew bind was in here somewhere. Yeah. See? This is what I was talking about. Do you all know who you are? Do you two know who you are? Alright, I'm gonna do a stretch break because I spent so much time setting this up. So I made a new background. Well, I made like 3 new backgrounds. So there's this background. Ah, so nice. And then this one, because this is the stretch break background. Turn this down a little bit. Oh well, they are the same. They're on Twitter. You know them on Twitter. I feel like everybody should know everybody all the time. But some of the crossovers are weird. Anyway, so what I was doing is did I already do this? Alright, so you push the button and it spins the wheel. And I was supposed to stretch my arms. I should put hands on there? No. God, that would be awful. No, I don't know how to turn that sound down. What if it was Morse code though? That would be awful. I think I've been there is a sound speed, slowdown rate, inner border, ticker tone. I can turn it off, but my dad would be hyped. He'd be like, I can tell you that it says BAT : left bracket Z 2. I mean, what? Dad, how do you know? So fast. Good job. So there weren't any spaces. How did you do it? Amazing. Alright, anyway. All bank all day. Alright, we're back. Back to the bank. Does anybody use this? I just have trouble focusing on bind because I don't know what it does. It just sounds made up. I don't know who uses it. What do we use it for? I feel like, mommy knows what it does and she's not telling us. It is most useful for binding the value of this in methods of classes that you want to pass into other functions. Oh, we're going to use it in React. Okay, I'll try not to be mad about it anymore. When would you use document write? Never. It's bad. It's over. It's so last decade. Bye-bye. Have you looked it up? Because the MDN is like, bye, don't use it. It's bad. I'll even look it up for you. It's really mean about it. MDN document dot. It's like, back away. See? Use of it is strongly discouraged. Discouraged. The HTML spec itself warns against it. Oh my word. Alright, I'm gonna skip it. What is the difference between feature detection, feature interference, and using the UA string? Okay, feature detection is like, hey, we got a feature here. Okay, feature interference is like, you stop rendering to put the feature in there. And it sounds like we don't really use the UA string anymore. So feature detection is kind of like the one that we use. And I think there's a more articulate way to say it. Yeah, this is the one that we use. Basically, it's saying like, can we do this feature? Yes or no? If we can, we'll run it. If we can't do it, we'll try to do a different one. We don't want to do that. And then UA strings, like, maybe somebody thought they were a good idea, but they weren't. Okay. I think I can probably skip that one. Ajax, get the F out of here. Your Ajax. Okay, Ajax was I'm having trouble figuring out if it's still in use. I think it was definitely, it's probably still in use. So Ajax is little packets of XML that get sent back and forth to the server to update just a tiny piece of the DOM so that you don't have to re-render the whole website. So that's what the X stands for, is XML. And the best example that I found of this is like when you do a Google search and it shows you like all of the little possible endings to your search, and they update like really quickly because it's like saying, oh, this person wants to search for, I don't know, like Halloween costumes that look like feet, shoes, bears, whatever. Like you keep like putting in things and it like adjusts it based on what you're saying. Everything is still in use. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Document.write is strongly recommended that you don't use it though. That's the first time I've seen that. Like the MDN is like, back away, don't do it. Yeah, so it seems like a good idea. I just don't know if Google uses it still. That's the thing I don't know. Okay, so the A is for asynchronously. And the X is for XML HTTP request. So the J is probably for JSON, but what is the other A for? Does anybody know? I don't know if I ever looked it up. I think that's good too. Okay. Alright, so we went through this one. I think I might have actually accidentally put that there, but the main difference is that map creates a new array and for each is like basically a for loop that you can do within a method. It's a little bit more nuanced to that, but we'll skip it for now. Okay. What's the typical use for anonymous functions? Put them inside of a callback, but other things where you don't need to name a function because it's inside of another function. Is that a too simplified way of saying that? Local scope. Yeah, uses an argument to other functions. Okay. So I think I need to read more about closure, but I guess it's something you can use inside of like enclosed that can reach the global scope. Closures are functions that have access to outer functions variables. Well, that makes me want to cry, so we're going to learn more about that later. Why am I reviewing now? I have 15 more. I did pretty good on that one. Basically this is going to change once I know more about React, but we'll just say Flux. Plain objects and write utility pure functions to manipulate these objects. State is manipulated using actions and reducers. I just say I try to avoid using classical inheritance where possible. Oh, I'm gonna go. I gotta go. This is 1 hour only, but I'm glad you were here. Keeping it light. Oh, this is a great question. The advantages are that you're not re-rendering the whole page all the time, because that would be annoying. The disadvantages? It's a lot of data. Is it a lot of data? Yeah, tonight. You'll have, do you have the broccoli still? Crystal has the broccoli. It is client-side data, yeah. Oh, this is something to consider. If Ajax fails, the whole page fails. Okay, that's good. Okay, so JSON P is JSON wrapped in a promise. No, it's wrapped in something. It's wrapped in a callback. What? You said I know something? Like a minute ago. Oh, I was just asking if you had the broccoli.
I have the broccoli and the cat. I got the cat twice. I can't get the potato.
Potato hates you.
All I want is the potato.
Everybody wants the potato. Nobody can get the potato. It's rough. It's rough out there. Emotes are just getting everybody down. Yeah, callback. Right. I don't know why it's not real Ajax, but I do know that most people don't use it because it's coarse. Okay. Have you ever used JavaScript templating? Have I? Yes, I've been using EJS and I'm learning React. React is a library. Is EJS a library? I don't think so. I don't think it is. EJI? No. Is EJS still used? It's a great question. Is EJS a framework? No. Is EJS a library? I guess it is. You just got the... I don't understand how it's giving you an emote you already have. I don't understand anything. Okay. So that's 2 libraries. Can I explain hoisting? Okay, basically what hoisting is, like, you can't use a variable that you haven't declared. Right? If it's not declared, you can't use it. Like, JavaScript can't see nothing. You haven't declared it. But it's also like in the code, you can't declare it after you try to use it. So you have to do it before you try to use it. Hoisting has something to do with like the order in which you do things. Yep. Variables must be declared or hoisted above a point in the code in which they're used to avoid being undefined or returning a reference area. Error. And then we know that there is a little bit of a specification of which will return what. Okay, that's good. Yeah, okay. So event bubbling is where you're like, you got one event listener, And you push that button, and then that triggers one above that, and then one above that, one above that, and one above that. So those events bubble up. And there's another way you can do it where they bubble down. It's not called bubbling, though. I forgot what it's called. I have to look at it. But that's event bubbling. And then there's a code you can use to stop it in certain situations, which is called event stop propagation. The bubble down is event capturing. Okay. I'm not expecting myself to know all the answers today, just so everybody's clear. Just going through them. So focus will not participate in a bubble. It's kind of rude if you think about it, honestly. All right. So what I learned about this is that people kind of use these interchangeably. And it just happens to be like where they're used that changes what you should use for them. Yeah, it has to do with state. So attribute is the initial state, and the property is the current state. The nice thing is that the DOM usually keeps them in sync. So if they're out of sync, then you have to know which is which. It's kind of an interesting question. Like, why are we asking this if they're usually kept up to date? Because there must be an issue at which they aren't kept up to date, and then they'd have to fix that. Because, like, oh no, my attributes and my properties, you know? It's like, God. Because if you break the global prototype, then you can't rely on it. I don't know if it's because I'm like obsessed with safety and not breaking things, but like this would never seem like a good idea to me. Okay, so the difference here is the document load event and the document DOM content load event is about the timing of when if you have a event listener which one are you referring to? The attribute versus property? Is that the one you're referring to, Mavi? Disambiguation. I think, well, it was in the JavaScript section. But I guess it ended up talking about what would happen in the DOM. How did you distinguish it? For this one, this kind of makes sense to me because you would definitely want to wait for your DOM to be loaded if you're having some significant JavaScript event happening, or for your CSS to render. It's nice to know that there is a more specific event listener that you can use. This question is so like tricky, right? So I looked into it, and I think that in most cases you're going to use the triple equals. what's it called, the strictly equals. In yeah, no, that's true. I think it's more about knowing like the context for things and being able to pivot and asking follow-up questions that actually make sense rather than being like, I don't, I didn't prepare for this question, so I think you need to ask me a different question. I have seen people use the double equals, and I think that I don't know why they need it, because then I use the triple equals instead, like especially in code war situations. Like I'll test out some answers, and they both pass, and so I'm like, if the triple equals passes, and I know why would you use a double equals instead? It seems like you could get into some sticky situations. It's one of those things where it's like the lowest common denominator is, you know, that the triple equals always works, but the double equals might not work. Why would you use the thing that might not work if you know the thing that always works? So this is a security thing, same origin policy. See, you would have the opposite answer. When I asked you to produce this specific question, we couldn't figure out why it would work that way, but it almost feels like something like that would be built to work the wrong way. Yeah, built to work the wrong way. It's like they built in an exception that triple equals wouldn't work, just to be jerks. Alright, so you want everything that's coming from the same place, because you don't want to have like third parties coming in and putting malware on your computer, basically. Malicious documents. Null and undefined. Null and undefined. Yeah, get down to the wire here. What's the difference between .call and .apply? Alright, so these functions work with this in JavaScript objects, and one of them takes in a comment separated list, and one of them, apply, takes in an array. Oh goodness. I think so. Here's the thing, like, I want to know a good example of why, like in real code, like we're building an application that somebody has on their computer that they use every day that needs 2 equal signs instead of 3. You know, like I think the like, and I'm sure this video is great, and I will watch it because I trust you. But I'm also kind of like, I've followed so many Twitter rabbit holes of like, watch these 6 videos about how to understand whatever, like call and apply JavaScript. I'm like, the theoretical side is like getting to me, and I just want to make things work right now. And I'm struggling with the like, I want to make things that work. I want to understand the concepts. I'm trying to find the balance between them. But here, let me look it up. Did I put it on there? Web Dev Simplified. It's spicy, Rachel. Simplified. Oh, Kyle. You search them. YouTube.
Today, we're going to build
my
your very
God,
first
stop
REST API.
screaming at me. Oh, I like this guy. Okay. Can I just search his stuff? Block. Oh, wow. That was loud. Okay. Search. Is it the one? Yeah. Okay, that's a good example. Can't you change the type? Wouldn't it be easier to change the type though? Like on the I'm gonna think about this. I'm gonna come back to it on Thursday. You can using TypeScript. Is this why people like to use TypeScript? Alright, we get this, we got that. We did this, we got that. Oh, yeah. Well, why does it say I have 3 minutes? What a rush. Okay. We got where does the action tag? Yes, good. Server option update is update is let's get post put. Yes. Okay. REST transfer, representational state transfer. Perfect. Okay. CSS. It's box border, box sizing. So see, that makes sense why people would be using box sizing border box. That's why people use TypeScript. Standard block elements would be divs or I don't know, sections. Great. I feel like I'm racing the clock. Deprecated? Yes, good. Aside is used for a like an article or an ad. Ads. Creates a new section. Section. ID attribute is so obtuse. Is a identifies an element. Okay. Opening tag. Good. Okay, great. Oh my God, 1 minute. Let's do React. Should be fresh. A function that returns React elements is a function that returns React elements component. Instead of camel case, component names need to be in Pascal case. Okay. How do you call a component in React with the angle brackets? Okay. What's the syntax to render React in the DOM? It's like React DOM dot angle brackets, then document ID root, basically. Oh, dot render by ID root. Okay. So using class, you have to use class name. Okay. Every component file needs to be in the exported, imported, exported. Okay. Index.js needs to import. Yeah, okay. Boom. React is such a party. Alright, that's it. Have to do JavaScript another time. Ooh, well, both. Are we talking about TypeScript? I will legitimately come back to this double versus triple thing on Thursday because I'm miffed by it and I want to know more about it. But I do have to go to my appointment. Let's see if there's anybody streaming. Literally no one. All right, well. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you have to import and export. It was, two different questions. But you have the main React file, and then you import and then you have to export the. All right. This has been fun. It was fast. It was dirty. It wasn't dirty. It was nice. You have to let me know if you like my leaves. Just trying to see. I made this like nice offline screen too. Oh no, that's not right. It's the one on my profile. Anyway. Well, thank you both for being here. What a delight. I love it. We did it. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm just going to keep adding cards and it's going to get more annoying. Okay. I got to go. Bye-bye.